Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So I'm beginning on with a new Dadman turn here today. Now, I did receive an email from Dadman. He did say that there seems to be an issue with the actual British radar. I can't recall which one it is specifically. But he says he has actually included changes to the scenario database to be able to fix that. So what I've been told to do here is run the replay and then just put these new files in, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. So what I've done here is I've made a separate installation of the game just so it doesn't affect the game with THG in any way, just on the off chance that it might do. So hopefully things will be okay. So ideally it's alright. Now, the sound might be a little bit too loud, it might be too quiet, but I'm going to have to see here. Okay. I'm going to have to put the actual save in here, so give me a momento. There we go. I must have so many copies of this game. How you doing there, Romaine? Good to have you, my friend. It's good to see Horizon as well. Yes, the reason for why I've named this episode as I have is more so, you can imagine that the Singapore defenders would be thinking, oh, good God, they're not attacking today. That's nice. We will be attacking tomorrow. Ideally, we do drop a decent amount of disruption today. That would be quite nice. How you doing there, Richard? Good to have you, my friend. Is this really your first time? I feel like I've seen you here before. I'm sure I've seen you here before. Maybe something like that. Right, so there we go. Have it in place. What I'm going to do then is give people a few moments to get in here. We're going to have a quick recap of what we had last turn then. So the last turn was actually pretty nice compared to the turn we had before that, frankly. We did actually go ahead and sink some of the US, well, Allied APs, which was quite handy there. There were troops aboard. I think we definitely sank one, I would say. I don't know if we sank a second, but we did obviously hit a second one a couple times. As well, ideally, we will be able to finish that off in the near future. I don't think he's got really a chance of escape, and I don't know where he could potentially move to escape, really. Well, we shall see. Hello there, Stars. Good to have you, my friend. Hello there, Jonathan. Benedict. OCB. Good to have you, Guy. Anno and Stanislav. Not the stream? Oh, fair enough. I thought you'd been on here before. Fair enough. So, yeah, just to recap. New installation of the game. We'll go ahead and actually implement the database fixes, and afterwards, ideally everything runs fine. If it doesn't run fine here, I can always run it on the previous installation. I think I must have the game like installed like 5-6 times in various different places. How you doing there, Carl? Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, 25s indeed. Okay, here we are. 29th of December, I do believe it is. I think we'll be moving to the 30th of December. Yes, it's 29th now. As we're into the evening of the 29th, moving into the day of the 30th. That's not how I'm going to have to address things, really. That'll be how I have to address it. Now, I am loading up those troops there so they can go across. We do see that force over there, actually. What I did do is actually leave behind the heavy cruiser Haguro to actually guard a few ships over here as they unload supply there, essentially. We didn't see much of an actual garrison over here at Ambon. We do have 2 regiments ashore that will take Ambon, I'm pretty damn sure, on the first attack. But they didn't have enough supply from the initial unloading during the actual first unloading process. So what we're going to do is make sure we can actually rectify them and actually get them enough supply in here. Now, his submarines are finding it a little bit harder to actually be relevant to this moment in time. They were nasty when we were moving ships into Kendari or Kendarai. But since then, since we've actually dispersed, it's fine. Well, he's finding it somewhat harder, as you can imagine. Right, so the 150mm guns over here. So we do have some ships over here that have already taken damage. Yep, more damage here. I'll speed this up. Okay, so that's the worst of it then. That's the worst of it then. So we have one more AK taking a shell here. This one was already on fire. We do inflict a few casualties from the bombardment. Okay, so we will unload here. Excellent. Now that should... I would be very surprised if it didn't give us the amount of supply that we needed to actually force the capture of Ambon. So ideally we'll celebrate a victory at Ambon in the day. I suppose potentially the morning, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. I suppose it would be the morning. It depends really when these battles will be taking place, but some time for another day, really. I do hope you're all doing well. How is everybody here today? Right, S38. Oh, thank God for that. Yes, okay, well that's not ideal because I do have a BB here. I think she's actually disbanded in Portogolo, but I do have to be quite aware of that. I'm going to have to get them moving very shortly. A torpedo into the side of the BB there, Issei would not be ideal. Ooh. S-38 really is out there for the kill. She's missed twice, however. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Something's just sank. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It might have been the other AP, in fact. We had another unloading there. How you doing there, Paradigm? Good to have you, my friend. It's a good day in the Pacific, indeed. Hello there, Haramir. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. Right, so moving to the daytime here. Still do not know where his carriers are at this moment in time. So we're going to see the 150s engages yet again, but that's to be expected then. So Toroshima takes another shell hit there, but only light damage really. It's 150 mils shell. So it's gonna hurt, but she only took the one there. Okay, now that's a shock. Now that is a shock. I don't know how he found us. I don't know why our battleship... Oh, I don't know how he found us here. I don't know how... Well... I don't know how he found us, frankly, because we went in a... Well, we have a BB group with them. We have 2 BB groups. We had a second BB group actually going to link up. So I don't know how he found us, to be honest. Okay, well, Hosho's taken 2 shells there, 8 shells there. The BB was in the task force. That's what I find incredible. And we have a second BB over here. She's always in the wrong bloody place. There's fucking wrong time. For fuck's sake. What was she doing? Okay, well, we have another BB force on the way. Oh, thank God for that. I know, Major. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm quite shocked at this, because I didn't think he'd find us here, because how does he keep finding us? Jesus Christ, his luck must be incredible. Right, so we have the battleship Yamashiro. So, the carriers can survive, but it looks like they'll probably have to go into some pretty hefty repair there. Yeah, how are you doing there, Major? So that's how WITP takes a hit there. Stronghold takes a hit. This is what I find incredible, is we moved in a position that he... Like, how could he have predicted that? They must have... I don't know, his intelligence out here is just remarkably good lately. Remarkably good. We do have a second, we do have Fuso moving in as well to actually merge with the force. I'm really quite shocked. Really quite shocked. Because we didn't move full distance. We didn't move as one would imagine. So we'll speed things up over here then, see how we do. Enterprise taking shell hits, ideally from the big Yamashiro. Okay. Jesus Christ. Maybe we just need to have the BBs and the forces just to prevent this happening. But he seems to have this remarkable luck of encountering the carriers first. I can't frankly bloody believe it. But that's fine. It looks like they will survive. We have hit-beat light cruisers here. And again, we do have another BB on the way. Yeah, he's bloody lucky. That's one way to talk about it. We'll have to take a look at the damage of the carriers, but they haven't sank in the initial one. Okay, so Yamashiro takes 8 shells, the 2 destroyers here, Hatsukaze, 3 shells, Sawakaze takes 4. We do sink the Enterprise. Caledon, heavy damage, Colombo, heavy damage, Stronghold on fire, Encounter, 3 shell hits there on damage. So, we'll have to see, really. It looks like we have just escaped death there. That was very lucky. We will have to take a look at the condition of the carriers, but my bloody god, that look is insane. Oh, now we detect them. Now we detect them. I mean, is that... Jesus Christ. How you doing there, Sean? Yeah, we sank the wrong Enterprise. I can't believe we found the bloody carriers again, but they have survived initially. There is another BB heading up to meet them as well. I tell you what, we just do not seem to be finding him. Just do not seem to be finding him. I think what we'll have to do is obviously set up Night Nail Search. Jesus, that was a shocking moment. Yeah, we are seeing ships over here. But looks, Jesus, how much is he sending out here? They might be the forces that are broken up there. Yeah, Enterprise and title. Yeah, goodbye, Enterprise. Oh, Jesus. That gave me a heart attack. I mean, if we can actually salvage the carriers, then at least we can actually repair them there. Yeah, well, I mean, we paid for it. I didn't expect us to pay again, but, yeah, do something great. Well, this is it. We moved in a way. When it wasn't direct, it was actually further to the south. We were moving to actually have proper cover. I don't know. Possibly so, possibly so. It could be that they're using Night Devil Search and obviously reacting to us, which is a complete possibility. He's moving out there pretty quick. Those are like, cruisers. He's probably looking for them. I suppose he did have an idea of where they were last time, so that's not too surprising. Yep, as I know, says there, he's a very experienced player. He'll be happy with that, but I'm happy with the fact that the carriers have presumably survived, which is good news. Yeah, I mean, what we'll do then is we'll pull back then. We'll take a look at the actual state of the carriers in the daytime. They're likely going to have some repair, but I can still make use of them. If I have to, I'll just take their carrier groups off and we'll get them out of dodge, because that's rather dangerous. Right, he's still attacking over here. We should have an air attack of Rangoon. Bloody hell. I'm glad they didn't sink in the battle. And we took some damage, but bloody hell. And the Yamashiro did put a good few shells into the cruisers there. Yeah, I mean, we did beat that force off quite nasty. A couple of those DDs didn't take a huge amount of damage there. So now we're going to the air phase. Now, ideally, the remaining battalion will punish them. Right, seeing shapes around here, so those look to be allied subs, I'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, this is it. It's surprising, because the BB was set to react as well, so I think what we'll have to do is run the BBs with Night Devil Search. Just didn't anticipate it, but then again, this is a crazy thing where we just do not know what's out there. I think what we'll have to do is obviously head south, and but it's a dangerous one, so we need to head towards home, essentially. Right, moving towards airstrikes. And we'll see here then, ideally the MKB can strike out and eliminate some of her pursuers, some of her tormentors. So, nothing detected over here at Rangoon in a sweep. I mean, this is it. I can survive without the Minikit battalion. Obviously, I wouldn't want to lose it, but we can survive without them. But I would prefer not to lose them. Okay, so we're hitting Rangoon on the bows here again. There we go. So when did the Allies get good torpedoes? Their torpedo, I think Allied torpedoes improve later on. Well, this is it. It seems so. Right, so we do have them striking out. Bloody hell, they're very close. It looks like there's a lot of ships in this area. Of course they missed. Okay. It looks like we'll just have to get out of the area then. Bloody hell. It looks like he sent a lot of the actual Royal Navy out there. Which is dangerous, but we'll see what the situation looks like in the daytime. I mean, what we'll do then is just pretty much have to put the battleships into the actual task force, it seems. But the second BB is not going to be linked up. Jesus, I didn't expect him to find us, that's the thing. Just didn't expect him to find us. I mean, I can afford to... Well, it's one of these of if we lose it, we lose it. I would prefer not to lose it, but it's not the end of the war. Right, we are hitting the S-38 quite hard here. I think the first time was quite the shock. The second time it's not as bad, it's still quite shocking, but it's one of those where we could still continue. It would be bloody well done by him, but we'll try and avoid that. Nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Yukaze finally takes a torpedo there from the S-38 and his second torpedo. So yes, Yukaze is going to go down here today, unfortunately. Yeah, she did try to limp away. So she goes down there. That's unfortunate. Wow. Continues to unload over here. I thought it was going to be another good day. Apparently, it was just the calm before the storm there. Unloading over here. Speed that up. There we go. But the good news is we do actually have a BB there. We'll have to take a look at it. I mean, what we could do is just have a couple of the DDs broken off and just go south. I was hoping that our actual carrier group might have actually done a little bit more, but apparently not. Jesus, I can't believe that. That was nasty. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is it. It's sinking ships. It's just obviously we prefer our carriers to survive there, really. I think he has actually changed over the commanders of his submarines. Right, do we take Taiping today? It's under attack by a heavy amount of force, about 400 AV. It's not a very lightly held base, and it's still got the Gurkhas over here. Yeah, we'll have to see what it looks like in the daytime there, really. Okay. 6-1, 281, 45, so we'll take Taiping here today. Good job. They retreat. Do we force them to surrender? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so they're going to retreat towards Kuala Lumpur. Ideally, they're on the road, so I can actually get... Yes, good. They're on the road, so we can march south and engage them. So we take 122 casualties, 14 disabled, 2 there. We inflict 1,814. So Malaya is not far from being finished off here. We do have the attack over here, deliberate attack. I'm going heavy with this. I'm going to have these forces then move back south for the most part. I had contemplated going across here, and I possibly could, but I'm not too keen on the river, so maybe we'll just go around. Or maybe we'll just leave a few forces here to wait for new divisions here, and then have a pincer attack, perhaps. So we'll speed this up over here due to the sheer amount of numbers. Yeah, you can see that being reduced there pretty massively. So we'll capture that. There we go. Yeah, all the gun indeed. All the guns. So there we go, we do capture it. We do take 1,014 casualties there. But we inflict 5,329 casualties, so essentially crushed the core there. Right. We do have our deliberate attack at Ambon, so 2 regiments. I think we will take Ambon. I would be surprised if we didn't. Ideally, they do have enough supply. I would imagine they do, due to the sheer amount of actual ships that were unloading during the actual phases. So 115.22, we do take Ambon here today. Yep. There we go. That's fantastic news then. So with Ambon out of the way, we can obviously then clear up all this area here as well. It was a risky venture. Oh, so he's destroyed Hudson on the ground there. That's a nice little one. Yes, 108 casualties. So light casualties there. We can have them rest. And that's 3,000 men there. So bloody hell. I can't believe that. Jesus. He does know how to keep us guessing, doesn't he? Alright, shock attack there. Where do they retreat to? Right, okay, I can continue to follow them. I'm glad they moved this way because it's all, like, clear terrain. What I'll do is move some more forces over there. Ah, bloody hell. He's really giving us problems with the MKV. Really giving us problems. I suppose this is the thing when he's, go down on the ground for the bad guys. Yeah, I suppose this is it when he's using them so aggressively. But we should be, well, we'll have to take a look there. Question: if naval batteries surrender, can you take over the regiment due to the static nature of guns? No, you can imagine that they would blow their guns. I mean, you can imagine capturing a gun would be very, very rare. You'd really have to be quite lucky there, or just, well, just luck, really. Either shock, or luck, or potentially cowardice, or some combination of all of them, really. Speed obviously being quite important. So we have an AMC and an AS arrive here today. Right. Yes, we're building forts at Palembang, the reason being, obviously, it helps to secure the base. I believe fortifications also aid against air attack, but I can't recall. I think that's what it is. So we'll take a look over this way. So to the north... God, this is a confused situation. Right. It looks like he might have sent them south here, actually. We were thinking it would be a good idea for you to try and bombard Bataan into your HG camp. I don't know if... I don't particularly understand that one. Right. Yeah, so Ryujo is pretty heavily damaged there. Hosho could survive. So, well, it looks like we might lose the Minikid Battalion, which is unfortunate there. That's really surprising. It must be that he's using Night Naval Search here. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, that's Yamashiro. And we have Fuso. What the hell was Fuso doing? And it's set to react as well. Okay, that raises some questions. Yeah, we could potentially try to fly them off. That might be the wisest thing to do, in fact. Well, I think it looks like the end of the MKB there, but that's not the end of the world by far. I'd rather, like, obviously save these guys, which they can be saved. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances. I think, yeah, I think it was probably we should have, yeah, I don't know. There's a few things to be said, but I'm quite shocked by this. But then it must be he's using Night Naval Search. Yeah. Sean, mine's can be cleared. I know you're a big Allied fanboy, but mine's can be cleared. I know it's like, it's great. It's like really great to think, oh yes, we've got this impervious fortress, but it'll be gone. Trust me, it'll be gone. Hey, Dimenji man, good to have you, my friend. Okay, well, that's quite a shock there today. But, I mean, this is it. We'll make a decision on this. We do have the 2 battleships here in the area. I don't know where Fort Drum is. I don't know what you're on about there, dude. Possibly. They might both be able to make it if we move them south, perhaps. But he's going to anticipate this. It looks as if he's come here expected... Well, this is it. Obviously, he's sending these forces to a doom. But then again, as far as it goes, we see ships over here. I do have the BB here. I have the BB here. We might just have to keep them together and just move at cruise speed. We could potentially have them survive. I think the best bet would be to evacuate the aircraft, but we could potentially save them. Fort Drums in the US. Okay. Probably why I don't know about it. Okay. Maybe send the BB group ahead. Yeah, I mean, this is what I find surprising, is that the BB was there. It just seems to... I don't know, maybe he just had really good luck in getting around there. Interesting. Yeah, it's war. I mean, this is it. I'm not terribly phased. It's a loss, don't get me wrong, but we can still carry on. Hosho's fine. Like, Hosho can survive. Had it been Ryuja, I would have been fine. I would have preferred Ryuja to be in that sort of status. The fires are quite nasty. Those are bad. We'll fly the aircraft off more than likely. He managed to intercept us last night, well, during the actual turn there, which is really, really bloody surprising. So we went like this, and we went like this. Wow, something like that, Oh, that thing. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Interesting. Right, so what we'll do then is we'll put them together for the time being. If she can bring those fires under control, she might be able to survive there. But those are pretty damn nasty fires. The amount of major damage is not bad. Like, that's... I can get rid of that. I can survive that. If she can survive the fires, she'll live. Flood's not great, but if she can survive that, she'll live. Interesting. Well, what we'll do then is we'll have the actual aircraft. We could even transfer to Port Blair, perhaps. Nasty, nasty, nasty business. Okay. Yeah, possibly. Might be potentially considered to scuttle. Well, this is it. We'll have Shoho in a few days. I mean, the good news is... I suppose this is it, isn't it, really? Yes, having Port Blair will be quite handy. I suppose this is what can happen when you're out here in these waters. We can't run detection, so we do not know what's out there. But we have sank a few of them. Indeed, Moscow has not fallen as of yet. Right, so it's listing that we sank here Colombo and Enterprise. Possibly more as well. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? That was shocking, though. That was quite the shock. I'm not happy about losing the actual... Yes, I'm gonna have to get the actual BB moving. I'm surprised, actually. Then again, I suppose there's not that many patrol boats. Yeah, well, I mean, this is it. As far as it goes with old CLs, there's still CLs. As far as it goes, it's like... There's this sort of... notion of capital ship and this. It's like, as far as I view it, they're all targets. I mean, they're essentially tools. Yes, you have tools that are higher quality. Yes, you have tools that have more potential, let's say, oomph to them. But they're all tools. Still good. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, I know, right. And so let's take a look at them. So this is also where Scuttle could come in handy. Yeah, we'll obviously take a look at that. I mean, this is the thing. I don't know. We'll have to see there. Have to see. Right. I was quite shocked. He's either got incredibly good luck, but then again it makes sense. Obviously he knew that we were out here. I suppose this is it. I suppose we've paid the price of really getting too greedy. But then again, we are playing against somebody who knows how to play the game. The issues are just, our nail such has just not been on par, has it? Oh dear. And like I said, if the E-Class got in close, it could straight execute cripples. Well, this is it, but what we'll do then is travel there. I mean, had it gone the opposite way and actually had they encountered the BB first, as would have been expected, at least hoped for, it would have been a completely different story, but we'll take it out as Yeah, take it as it is, really. Well, it's not that we got into a bad position, it's the fact that he's moving on to us. That's the thing to remember there, Ragnar. We're not dealing with, like, some sort of static, sort of, unthinking opponent. We're dealing with somebody who's not afraid to lose his ships. He knows very well he can lose these ships. He knows very well where we're roughly operating. So this is it. We can't go with these assumptions. We can't treat things very precious. I mean, obviously, we'll look after our tools. We can't treat them as if, oh no, if we lose them, we lose the war. I don't know about outmaneuvered. I don't know if he can be outmaneuvered here. It's a case of he's moving quickly. It looks like a large area, but it's not that large of an area. He knew roughly where we were. I don't know if it's outmaneuvered, it's just more so he found us. I don't know, I suppose outmaneuvered, I'd say more so force us into an area, but this is just unlucky, really, for us, I suppose. Well, this is another thing as well. He could potentially have aircraft out here. By the way, if you can hear a Hoover in the background, obviously it's a Hoover. Anyway, take a look at the other things going on, Ben. Okay. Yeah, potentially looking at intel. She's like 180 odd a VP. I mean, we can fly the aircraft off the carriers. That one can be done, but I'd imagine. Right, so we have low disruption now, so it was worth waiting. Fatigue is not great, but that's much lower. So we're up to 173 here. I know that bloody Iron Duke's going to be going in like saying, oh yes, RN the best. And if you're watching this Iron Duke, please don't leave one of those comments. They're just getting a bit boring now. I appreciate the comments. Planes can't fly off. Oh, is that due to her being a flame? That's unfortunate. Yeah, they can't transfer. That's a shame. Well, it's either fly or you die. Oh, well, that's a shame. He guessed really well there. Well, guessing information, I'd imagine search, and just really unfortunate luck for us, really. Take the pilots out of the group, yeah, that can be done. But, well, we'll take it and we'll move on from that then. And this is a beautiful thing. We still have the positions that we need. We can still continue to move here. It's unfortunate because I did have things in mind for them, but we can still achieve much here. It's going to be harder, but we can still achieve. The conquest of Burma is going to be within sight very shortly. And I guess set all planes to naval attack and naval search at night. Well, I mean, this is it. Yes, we can put the pilots into the pool then, as said, so that's good news. Yeah, well, I suppose that's the thing as well. Like, I don't know how accurate magic is, so that could be potential. There's a lot of potential things that could have happened there. But it's just unfortunate, really. Just unfortunate. I mean, this is it. I could spend all day saying, well, maybe if we'd gone this way, maybe if we went that way, maybe if we went that way, but it's just how it goes, really. No, I don't think he's watching the Manosphere. We've got to bear in mind he's a very good player. It does suck there, Sean, but this is it. We're not really built around the carriers. The carriers are great, but I think this is the thing to remember. Like, the thing with Japan is the carriers, yes, they have a real great purpose in mind, but we live or die by the Dutch East Indies. We secured the positions, we have sank a great deal, so as far as they go, I mean, it'd be a shame if we lost them, but they're not essential. We can win the war as far as it goes, as far as we possibly can win the war without them. Obviously, it'd be different. I would rather not lose the Kitapatai because we need to have carriers out in the Pacific. But yeah, no, it just seems, it's just unfortunate. But we still have the BBs over here. Let's take a look, actually, how many shells. Fuso! Yeah, apparently, she wasn't involved for some reason. Very confusing situation there. It looks like she reacted there. Yes, we have more carriers, and we have more carriers being produced as well. Like, we do have the Kitapatai over this way. So obviously we have Hiru, Soru, Shikaku, Zuikaku, Akage. And there's Karga as well. Well, we weren't really talking about a Ceylon invasion, but that could still be done. That could still be done. What we'd have to do is just obviously look towards taking bases over here. Well, this is it. It reduces our power, but then this is the thing. It can still be carried out. So if I read this, Japan, right part of playing with them is being very aggressive, take risks. Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. You can't go there without being willing to take a few losses, really. No, but what I'm saying, Sean, is recognise the situation. I mean, this is it. I could lose the Kitapatai as well, which obviously would suck, but the war doesn't end. You've got to really look at this as a different sort of viewpoint when playing as a Japanese. I think this is the issue when you're playing as allies, as I know you're a big fan there, Sean. No, I'm only teasing, by the way, I'm only teasing here. But yeah, I think this is the thing when you look at it as the allied point of view, you get very concerned, I think, about how many ships you have, because you do get more ships. And you're playing on the defensive as well. So I think that adds to the sort of mentality of where aggression is seen as a mistake, but then how can you win a war without being aggressive? How can you take these bases without being aggressive? You can't take anything without losing something in return. I mean, this is unfortunate, and I've got to hand it to him. It's well played. It's well played. I didn't anticipate that. That was a complete shock, but, well, we'll carry on. We'll save what we can and then carry on, really. We have the BBs over here, so we can actually sink all these assets in the area, likely, as well, which would be quite nice. There's still a lot of assets over here. Those bloody cursed items there. How you doing there, Bren? Good to have you, my friend. Right, so moving north over here. But in good news, we'll have Singapore, so we're going to have it tomorrow, I'd imagine, as we'll order the attack here today. There we go, order the attack. I think it was definitely worthwhile resting there. Well, that's it, as Major says there. Given the qualitative advantage ease with Japan over Persia, the pressure is on to maximise the game. And the loss are the light carriers. I would have preferred to have them. Yeah, just develop nukes before the Americans. Oh dear. But I don't know, it's one of those, isn't it? We'll just take it, and we've just got to admire Dadman for being so bold. The allied player doesn't want to be aggressive. Tell that to bloody Dadman. And this is it. The allied player can do a significant amount of damage if they play aggressively. Playing defensively and playing cautious of battle, shy of battle, is all well and good, but then you're not going to see any sort of victories that could be gained as well. But then again, this plays the Japanese aggression as well, so it's one of those. It's all about context. It's an interesting one, really. Well, that's it, and, like, I do really respect THG. He is a good player. He was definitely a much, much better player when we began. And this is the thing, it's punishing to play as Japan, because you have to be aggressive. And the thing is, you have to move into these areas where you might not have perfect information. You are going up against a much larger fleet. You're going up against you're going up against many nations. You're going up against the British Empire, obviously the Americans, I mean the Dutch, I suppose to some small extent the French, but I don't think the French really, unless you actually take Tahiti, I guess. Australia, well, the Commonwealth in general. There's a lot of nations, obviously China. It's one versus many. Are you going to do I don't know if I'd ever play as the Americans. Maybe. I think I'd have to have like a really good opponent. It'd be very interesting to be on the other side of the coin. This is it. Don't get me wrong. I'd be quite happy to have all those resources. The French get like 2 land units. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Okay, so I mean the good news is they haven't sank during battle, so we can make some decisions over here. Hosho can be saved, so at least we do have a carriage, so that's quite good then. So at least if Hosho can be saved, we have a capability of projecting some air power. Ryujo looks like a bit of a lost cause, which is unfortunate, but, well, we'll have to carry on. But we did actually cause some good deal of damage to the opposing forces here. It's worth playing the other side, is to give you a better understanding of your capabilities. Yep, exactly. Whew. Out of breath now. That was an exciting moment. I thought it was going to be a bit of a quiet turn, and then he bloody does that. He's a nasty pasty, isn't he? Nasty, nasty pasty. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, this is it. The first time, it was complete shock. It's disappointment. It's all these emotions. You think, oh God, did I make a mistake? And you're like, oh God, people are going to be angry. Well, not angry, but you know what I mean, upset. I mean, this is it. It is an upsetting thing. But I suppose after the first initial shock of carrier loss, you sort of think, right, okay, well, they're just tools. I mean, this is it. Across the board, though, we are doing well. I still love this track, by the way. Yeah. Oh, God, you kicked my ass there, Major. Oh, dear. Okay, so we have a second mortar battalion. We have the second independent heavy artillery battalion there. The first heavy artillery regiment over here has arrived as well. And so we do have additional heavy guns here. So there's the 240s there. Second independent, yep, with 15s. Well, this is it. We'll have to think about that. I think it might be worthwhile to merge with the BBs. I think potentially had we done that the turn before, maybe it would have been a different story. But then again, you have these surface forces detached because you think, right, they're going to protect the carriers. I'm surprised that the carriers didn't actually break away, but then again, that is the issue when you're going up against something that is somewhat modern, that actually have speed capability. And we also have 81mm there. I'm sure they're going to be terrified of those. Okay. Hey, ship's not doing what you want them. Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right there, Sean. I hope you realise, by the way, Sean, I was only teasing earlier on. In something like 7 years of playing AE, it's probably the only time I've actually got Yamato. Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear. Well, my behaviour is better this time around, because this is it. It's not as much of a complete shock. You have already sunk his CA and PP in the Indian Ocean. Well, we sank the Repulse. I don't know where the hell the Prince of Wales is. I don't know if she went down or what, really. Right, there were several executions. Jesus. Oh, dear. Okay. Right, yeah, eventually we have our forces in position here, so let's take a look at how they're looking now. So, disruption has been rapidly dropped out, which is good news. Next is the board. Right. So we have 1479 here, so let's take a look at the situation then. So he's moving his forces out from Bataan. As far as I can tell, he's not moving forces from Manila, which is the really important one here. Had he been moving forces from Manila, that would have been a bad thing. I see ships over here that are moving to attempt to escape. So we know he has ships out here. We do have ships of our own out here as well. So we are running a light cruiser, the Kuma, out here as well. The other light cruiser, she's on her way, so the Yabari is on her way into Baldwar to actually go ahead and rearm. I don't know if he can escape. I mean, I would like to have some sort of naval search group out here to try and find those ships, but I don't know where he could particularly go, really. So if he continues to go, he's going to be running into a naval search of a K4, so either way, really. Alright, Sean. Maybe in the future we'll be able to talk about that one. Right, okay. We do see a great deal of submarines over here. It looks like he's trying to evacuate at last. He has been trying to evacuate, in fairness. As submarines are an important Manila, I'd imagine the ones that have been damaged previously. Okay, so let's take a look at the conquest over here at Ambon then. So Ambon is quite damaged from the previous bombardment. Okay, so we took relatively light damage here, which is good news. So what I can do then is have them rest for the time being. Other forces did return over here to Kandari, or Kandarai. What's on the south of Mindanao? I'd imagine it's probably a AK of some nature. We'll send something out there to deal with it, really. I'm going to get that BB group moving there. That would be a good idea. I do have another amphibious landing force that will be landing here tomorrow. Porto Princesa, we should be able to deal with Lowry. Okay. So we're looking pretty good at Clark. Forces are on their way. If I take a look over here then. I am sending 65th Brigade. Question is, do I wait there? Let's see, second's there. Second's going to take a little bit more time, so second's going to be remaining in position here. Do I send the 65th Brigade? I might actually have the 65th Brigade remain in position, in fairness. It is additional men, but I think it's probably... Okay, I'd say it's probably worthwhile to actually remain here at Lingayen with the 65th Brigade, because that's 200 AV. There's around about, I think, 100 at EBA. We do have elements of the 2nd Division that didn't fully join up. Sorry, didn't fully link up moving in as well. So that's taken another 98 AV. What we'll do then is we'll see how we go tomorrow. Oh, Japanese land reinforcement? Sure, I'll show you. You get a lot of naval guard units. Let's see, ground reinforcement schedule. I'm still... that jamming kit. That jamming kit. Right, okay. So we'll have a couple of units arriving then shortly. Naval guard units over here. We'll have some... There's a large influx of brigades in the future. More air HQs is always a good thing there. There you go, just scroll through it slowly then so you can take a quick look if you like. Yeah, so 53 days we'll have a Singapore detachment, which will have Singapore quite some time before that, which is going to be quite nice. Continue through. You just get a lot of Naval Guard units here and there. There's a point at which you get like a lot of like brigades actually. Can't recall whereabouts it is. There we go. Oh, is it in February? I thought it was. Okay. Right, 17th Division is marching here to Shanghai to act as the garrison there. I'm going to put that into... I might as well just have it in movement mode until it arrives tomorrow. We will have a couple more divisions. Yep, they've just arrived over here, which is excellent news. So, the 32nd needs to unload. So I'm going to do then is have them rest and train for the time being. Have the 10th Division march here. Down to the south. What I'm going to do then is likely take the majority of forces over here, potentially march south. And it's an interesting one. I could probably move across the river. That could be done. But I don't think I'd prefer to incur the losses there. I am taking a couple of units out of Manchuria to actually garrison over here. Okay. Right, what else did we see today then? Okay, so we see something out here at Townsville, which is interesting. 4 heavy cruisers. Let's take a look at that. Now that's an intriguing area. So we're undetected as of this moment in time. Now, we have some range here. There are AOs on their way. It might be a consideration to potentially move into the Coral Sea, and if that is his force there, I mean, that's 4 heavy cruisers. That could be... I mean, if that is indeed 4 heavy cruisers, is the question there. It seems likely. His carriers could be in this area. They could be potentially at Townsville. What we could look to do then is potentially to keep moving. Maybe move this way. Yes, indeed, it did have quite a few heavy cruisers. But at least we... Well, at last we actually do have some information to work with, which is really good now. Yes, that's actually rather surprising. 26 out from Tulagi. We might have actually detected them as we were moving... As they were moving in there, perhaps. Which is intriguing. Yeah, Renan Darwin Townsville edition. Yeah, he still has his forces out here. Right, sending them back to Kandarai. I'm going to have to get used to saying it. Okay, so we do have our forces over here. So, Amphibious. They have finished loading, which is excellent news. Awesome. Right, so they can be moved upon Benjamin nearby. And it could be also in US cruisers that spawn there. Potentially so, potentially so. In some ways... Well, that's it, indeed. I don't think we'd move there, because I don't think it's potentially worthwhile. Interesting. I suppose as far as it goes, with our uses of Kitapatai, I don't think we charge in there as such, because we don't have accurate information. There's a suggestion of 4 heavy cruisers. That could be like some potential bait. I mean, this is it. There's a lot of different ways we could think about this. That could be potentially bait. It could be a lot of different things. But I think as far as it goes, if we take a look at the actual situation, if we take stock of the situation, what are our objectives right now? Oh, we actually see something over here at Rabal. Right, so we see an AS, which is a subtender, supposedly. Okay, intriguing. Yeah, so our objectives in this area is, well, we need to solidify control of here. We need to build up our actual control, our airfields. Conquering Port Moresby would be quite nice. Can I carry a refuel in Townsville? Well, they don't have to go directly into Townsville. He would have to... Well, this is it. He could be potentially down here to dock. He could just have a ship go in there, refuel potentially from the port, or even have a few AKs come out of the ports and refuel from the ships. He doesn't have to dock, essentially. That's the thing to bear in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual state of Leh. So, Leh is at 61% here. We do have additional engineers on their way, which is good news. See, it might be... I mean, this is the issue. Port Moresby seems to be the base from which he's operating PB-wise, it seems. I am sending some additional units down this way. I think one of these actually do have AV, so I would have that sent to Bourne. There we go, yes, that one. So what I'll do then is give it another day, then have one of those ships actually head over here into Shortlands, and then I can take Bourne, which would be nice. Solidify control there. I do need to take Manus Island. Okay, they're moving it there. The question comes down to what do we wish to do. I think it might be wise to move the Kidipati back over here to the north. It may be potentially wise, considering that these guys are detected. It might be wise to, in fact, unload them at Rabal. I think that might be possibly a smart move to make. We'd have to see. It depends. The issue is we don't know where his actual assets are. I mean, if I was him and I... Well, then again, he doesn't know where the Kidipati is at this moment in time. It might be worthwhile just to send them back, just to use them as potentially like some sort of bait in a way, really. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him knowing about those forces moving in there. It might be a little bit risky to send them in with the American carriers on undetermined locations. In an undetermined location. I mean, they could make it. I mean, they're fast. They'll make it in there pretty quick. They would be there during the night time, but it might be too much of a risk. I think what I'd have these do is instead head over here to Rabal. And this is the problem. It's like early war. We just don't have the assets that we need in this area to actually solidify our control here. So I think what we're going to do then is bring the Kidipati potentially back north. Possibly some way into the Coral Sea to maybe act as a deterrent. Well, deterrent. But we'll have to see about that. I think I should be able to move you out from Roynama, which is good. So yes, I can finally move you there. Okay, move you to Rabal. It's a very interesting balance tonight. Oh, good. Right, okay. So we have laid our first set of mines over here at Wake Island, which is good news. There we go. Excellent. Right over here. So we'll rebuild the unit. So there's a lot of them damaged here. They have been pushed quite hard. And we do have quite a lot of them in reserve, actually. So they should be fine. They'll be able to build that number up here shortly, then it seems. Yeah, bloody 13 reserve. That's a lot of reserves there. So they're in a naval search. Okay. And this is it. We need fighters. We need a lot of aircraft out here. So I think what we'll do then is we'll bring the Kidipati back north. We've dropped detection, which is good. He knows that we're moving this way. He may suspect that we continue to move south. He may suspect that we're moving to the Coral Sea. If he's aware that we've spotted this task force, which he's going to be aware at least in some sort of capacity, he may think, right, I'm going to go that way. So, they are undetected. You're undetected as well. Interesting. Bloody interesting turn so far. I've only ever heard about Brave once before, actually. I think I did a while ago, but I don't know what else to do about it, actually. Right, let's see. That's a lot of assets over here. Right, I continue to move north. So yes, we will be looking towards taking one of these bases over here in the near future. Likely Tikatika Island, and set that up as a search base there, essentially. No, but a very interesting turn so far. What are the best subs you have? Well, we are quite blessed as Japan to actually have some pretty formidable submarines. Like, if we take a look over to these guys, their maximum endurance is, or it might not be that class of sub, actually. Let's take a look. I might as well go here to... I'll go to the database, in fact. Oh, yeah, probably, I don't know. I probably haven't set that up then. It was a long time, God, I can't remember even how long it's been, but it's, maybe 2 years since somebody mentioned about that, perhaps? Maybe more than that. Right, so what I'm going to do here then is sort by endurance, and that will give you your answer. Well, that one comes much later on. That one is amazing, but that one comes much, much later on. That being the actual carrier sub, which is really awesome. But my personal favourites are the Type J1s over here. And they just have fantastic range. Which one is the one with the capacity? Is it the Type A2? Ah, might be the Type A2 I'm thinking about. But that one has radar. I'm sure there's one with 24,000 endurance. But I must be thinking another one then. But essentially the ones that have the high endurance and actually have a seaplane are very nice. Yeah, A400 gang. Oh dear. Okay. Right, the good news is Wake is now mined. We do have submarines actually heading out to where they're going to be sent to form the divisions. Like these submarines are actually heading north to Paramashiro-jima. They're going to form our northern Pacific submarine group essentially. So what I'm going to do then is have a AS, which we actually already do have over here at Paramashiro-jima, which is good. As what we'll be looking towards doing then is pushing on forward to Chikitaka. Sometimes, I swear to God, I find the font harder to read. It's not the fact that I can't see it, it's the fact that I can't bloody read it with a font. Maybe that's just me and my eyes or something. Yes, indeed, bomb the canal. Okay. Right, so, interesting turn of events. I keep saying that. Okay. So let's take a look and decide what we're going to do here then. So in terms of supplies, we do have 68,000 tons here, 15,000 here. And there's 2 units here. I might have this 65th continue, but I think what I might do is actually have them move in combat mode. Yeah, we're going to go for the illusions. I don't know how seriously we'll go for the illusions, but there's not much here of the illusions, but it is quite important to actually have there. And the reason for that island is that one is Swamp, which is ×3. I used to think it was ×4 for some reason. I was confused with Urban Heavy. So if we take a look over here then. Swamp is ×3 terrain indeed. Well, this is it. I mean, the beauty is this is ×3 defensive island. There's only a port here at this moment in time, but we could move engineers there to turn it into an airfield. If we take a look over here, Atu Island is rough terrain, which is okay. That's clear, which is not exactly ideal. So let's see, Adak Island, port, okay. Yeah, Dutch Harbour. Size 3. I can't recall if it's something about Dutch Harbour that's funny. I don't know whether it actually counts as a US mainland. There's some sort of thing about reinforcements, and I can't recall if Dutch Harbour counts as being part of the mainland or something of that nature. I'll have to double check that. I'd have to double check that. But the Illusion Islands should be fairly seizable there, really. Get the crab at Dutch Harbour. Indeed, actually. And the weather is terrible, and what would he need to do to take it back? Well, I mean, this is it. He could essentially just isolate it for a long-ass time. And you can take all of Alaska without reinforcements, okay. And as far as it goes about retaking it, it's one of these things of where he could just park up some AKEs or something of that nature, and he could just bombard incessantly, really. It doesn't really need to be retaken. It's one of those where it's good to take for us because we can use it for the naval surge aspect and obviously as a submarine base. For him, it's not really a critical thing to lose because it doesn't really reveal all that much. It's good for us. It's more so a defensive capture. Well, this is the reason why it's good, is it's a defensive sort of position to take there. As far as it goes for him, it really doesn't make that much of a difference to him. It doesn't really threaten him terribly much. But what you're going to think about as Japan, we only have Paramashiro-jima over here in the north that acts as our early warning station in the north. What we would do then is actually have, let's say, whatever island. And then what we do is we would have HK4's stationed there. So if we take a look at range, so 20... which would be the normal operations. And so essentially what it does is it actually pushes out the air umbrella of the Imperial Japanese Empire to something like that. It gives us information something like this far out there. Which it might not sound like a lot, but it is worthwhile doing so. It's absolutely worthwhile doing so. So right now we only have Paramashiro-jima. So if we take a look, so 20... we'll say 25 from Paramashiro-jima is up to about there. One more hex. Okay, so that's Paramashiro-jima's range there. Okay, that's good, okay? But that's it. It doesn't give us that much warning. It doesn't give us that much, well, full warning of what's to come. Well, if we go for whatever island. Okay. One more. That's 25. So you can see here, that would give us additional range. So this is it. We might then be able to potentially detect the enemy 48 hexes from Parameshirojima, which is nothing to scoff at there, really. Yes, the illusions can absolutely be used as a submarine base. And that's another thing to bear in mind. We're going to be using Parameshirojima as a submarine base in the early days. And if we can take that island, I would use it. But let's go ahead and take, we'll say, I don't know, we'll say Seattle. So Seattle is 77 hexes away from Parameshirojima. From over here, how far away is that? That's 54 hexes. It doesn't seem like a huge amount, but that means that's hexes saved. It means they can remain on station longer, they don't have as far to go, they're more fuel efficient. They're more efficient, really, because they're closer to their target, which is a good thing. Well, this is it, Sean, but you're going to think it doesn't take much to capture an island over here in the north. I think you're discounting them way too much. You've got to think about this from a perspective of pushing out the air umbrella, acting as a submarine base. They're not critical, but they are absolutely worthwhile taking. Are you going to send a AR there? Oh, not to bloody chicken, whatever it's called. It'd be too vulnerable there. Subtenders, I can't recall if they can actually enact low-level repairs. I think AGs could potentially do that. I think ASs can, but I'd have to double-check. They can definitely rearm them, but I don't know if they can actually repair them. But yeah, this is it, really. It's definitely worthwhile doing. Okay. Let's see. it's in some ways a very quiet turn, in other ways it's a very active turn. Quite amusing like that. Okay, so we're going to be reaching out here to Coco's Island and Christmas Island IO in the near future. So we see him preparing over here. Okay. How far from Oosthaven are we? We are closing in, so we'll be here tomorrow at Secondary Road, so it's going to take a few days to keep moving there, really. Well, this is it, but it's one of those things of when if you do put the engineers into something like that, you can build it up. I mean, that's why it doesn't have an airfield to begin with. It can have an airfield built. It is in the cold zone, so it is pretty nasty, but it can be done. Okay. Right, so we're going to be moving south with that one. I do have the Ki-43s over here at Makassar. The good news is it does seem like I will be able to move the Zeros. It might be potentially worthwhile to have these Zeros escort the G4s at Kopang. It could be potentially worthwhile to potentially go for something like a naval strike mission over here to Darwin. Maybe. That gives us something to work with, so we'll go ahead and take a look at operations report here then. These are all ships that have just come into service, by the way, so these are all ships that were converted. We had a lot of them yesterday as well, so these are more that have just been actually put into service. So we do have AKEs, I think we had about 26 or maybe closer to 30 AKEs being converted in total, initially anyway. So those will be quite good there. So RO-60 lays minefield, there we go, sets course for Kwajalein Island. AS Jennison's, whatever that is, reported hits. Okay, 3367. Right. Catalina. Yeah. As if the escort aborts mission returns to Victoria Point, okay. Okay, and then we have the arrival over here. Nasty. Another ASO is good to have, another AMC is very good to have as well. Okay. So what we'll do then is I will have the Kidipatide return this way, which is not a bad idea because we do have our Oilers. There's Oilers coming down this way, and we also do have Oilers over here as well. These guys obviously do move very quickly. So to be honest, what we could do is move possibly this way towards Rabal sort of area, link up with the AOs and refuel there. I will have the Kidipatide sort of remain in this area until we do secure Port Moresby, I'd imagine. I think it's worthwhile doing so, but we also do need to have a security here to branch out. The good news is we will have the capability to defend ourselves here in the near future. A possibility is maybe moving the A6M2s from Kopang over this way, but I'm not too sure about that. I'll see you later then, G-Man. Have a good one, my friend. Been good having you, as always. Okay. As we're going to order a deliberate attack over there at Singapore then. Ideally we do succeed. I do not think we're far away from succeeding there. I do not think they have that much to hold out there. And considering that, I think we did hit them on the ground as well. Yes, we did. So 10 airfield damage. So he has not been able to build up any level of fortifications. The good news about this is obviously since we switched to hitting his ground forces from the air, he has been able to repair the airfield. So that's quite nice. So what happens is when we do capture Singapore, it will have far less damage for us to actually repair. So that's a little bonus for us there, really. Okay, then move in. We do have these naval construction battalions here. So they'll be arriving at Johor Bahru tomorrow, and then they're obviously going to be marched on towards Singapore. As the good news is I'll have engineers here to go ahead and immediately repair any damage. I do have a naval headquarters here as well that's able to be shipped into there as soon as the mines are cleared. If we take a look over here then, so mine sweeping, 15, there we go. So we do have 15 DMSs that can be moved into Singapore to clear the mines pretty much immediately, which is going to be quite nice. They're going north, so what did we take over here then? Taiping. So it's 5k supply there. I wish it told you what you actually captured, that'd be nice. We do have some damage here to the runway, which is kind of nasty, but we can deal with that. Our forces, how are they looking then? So 450 AV. Disruption's not too bad. Fatigue's up there, but they should be able to manage. Now, if I take a look over here then, it's clear down here, which is really good news. There's 3 units there. Okay, we do have our jungle rough over there. I think probably what I'd want to do is move a regiment from here down this way. It's going to be real... It's going to be a mighty pain. Yeah, it's going to be a mighty pain. I'd probably want to march down to this position over here and then march this way. I think that means that we'd move halfway here along a road, and then the other half would be through this terrain, I think. Possibly. These jungle roughs is quite nasty. Okay. What I'll probably do then is wait until we secure Kuala Lumpur. It does mean that he has one more base over here at Temla. But if I could actually move the tanks over here to the north then, and essentially take control of the terrain here, block his retreat, that would be really quite worthwhile in doing so. The good news is as the 114th Regiment moves south, they'll obviously take control of this. As we do move upon Temla, we'll take that as well. So he's not going to have many bases left. Once Kuala Lumpur falls, that's going to be the last allied base in Malaya. Right, they're moving. Good, so they'll cross the river next turn, and they will attack there. So that's good news. As we'll be attacking here tomorrow, then clear that last base bar in Kuala Lumpur, which is good. What I could potentially do then is take a regiment and have it head to the north and then head south and potentially to aid us there. Okay. Looking good then, frankly. And this is it, we have taken losses, but... well, we are making him pay. We are making him pay as well. We're going to continue to actually keep that up, haven't we, really? Okay, they're closing it now. Maybe I should just move in movement mode. He doesn't seem to be terribly concerned about us actually hitting Rangoon. I don't know whether I want to up the amount of bombers hitting Rangoon, really. Thunderstorms doesn't help us over here at this moment in time. I'm surprised because I expected the H-81s to actually make their appearance, and I don't know if I want to get complacent, really. It might be that we take a little bit of time to actually rest our aircraft and then potentially go a little bit harder on him, perhaps. We do need to restart the bombing up at Harvey's airfield here. How do you feel like trading? Oh, how do you feel like you're trading at the moment? I mean, it's one of these things, isn't it, really? We lost a couple cruisers out here, which was unfortunate. I mean, that was unfortunate. That was unlucky, really. It's one of those where you can't guess what your opponent's always going to do, really. We lost the 2 heavy cruisers out here. So he has blooded us. He's blooded us over at Wake, I should say. He's blooded us over there. He blooded us over here, but not as bad as it could have been there, really. I mean, that was more so to a bad guesses, otherwise we would not have lost as much. We have inflicted a major amount of damage to his actual merchant marine over in these areas. Yes, he has sunk 2 carriers so far, potentially 2 more. Well, maybe another one there, which is nasty. But he's paid for that as well. And this is it. The thing to bear in mind is he has prevented the capture of Palembang. BLeAcHACID's fallen, Samarinda's fallen, Megasar's fallen, Kandarai's fallen, Kopang's fallen, Ambon's fallen, Monado's fallen. All of those have fallen. Singapore will be fallen shortly as well. So the thing is, as much as it sucks out here, we're able then to move on. So we'll be marching upon Rangoon shortly. As long as Hosho, at least one of the carriers, makes it, then that's okay. But even then, I don't need them to take Rangoon. As we do have these air bases over here we can make use of. Port Blair is a base we can make great use of. I mean, this has been nice actually. I've had G4s established now there at Port Blair or a naval search. Maybe that would have been a potential solution, but this is it. But as far as it goes, it's been a pretty brutal first month of war, really. Pretty brutal. And let's see. So if we take a look at totals. Will the ships in Singapore Harbour get destroyed upon capture? I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure about that. I think if they're in repair, probably. Like, if they're in dry dock and they can't leave, then probably. But yes. So, we lost 61 zeros. We lost a lot of them from the actual sink of the carriers. Maybe potentially more here. But those amount of zero losses aren't too bad to say that we are on the 30th of December. We would have been looking better, but not too bad. But in all the days of battle, we haven't done too bad here. So destroyed 86 Buffalo, 58 Hudsons, 42 Warhawks, which we can destroy more. 42 of those bad boys. The losses haven't been that bad. That's the thing to bear in mind here. P-40Bs. Indeed. If we take a look over here at ships sunk. We saw it by points. I mean, Zuho and Tayo sucks, but Kinagusa and Aoba. But we have sunk a lot of his own shipping as well. It's been a very busy few days, really. And you take a look at the amount of shipping that has been sank here. This has all been sank. There we go. And obviously this isn't a complete list. And the good news is, as far as it goes, we've only lost one oiler ourselves. We lost the Ondo, which is unfortunate. We sank a good number of tankers. There's probably more tankers that we've sank here, and I think even potentially more oilers that we've sank, or at least crippled, which has been quite good. So we have been inflicting a lot of damage against his actual merchant marine, which is good. He sank a few of our APs, but we've sank a good few more of his APs as well, actually. It's going to be an interesting one. It is going to be an interesting one. But I think for the early capture of the Dutch East Indies, it just means that we will be able to last longer. We'll be able to make more use of the actual resources here. And by his own admission, he was somewhat taken aback by our aggression, really. So we have captured vastly more than what could have otherwise been captured. Which is nice. Okay. Yep, so like over here at BLeAcHACiD, I mean, BLeAcHACiD being captured intact is just phenomenal. It's not huge. I would have been very happy had we captured Palembang intact, but I'll take it. We'll be able to begin to repair here in the near future as well. And in fairness, I could start the repair process now, but it would eat up that supply pretty rapidly, so I'll probably do that in the near future. And Marie, we are repairing more of the actual oil facilities. There's still a lot to go. We've still got 145,000 tons of supply to use to actually repair everything here. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so I think I'm going to call the stream an end about here. I'm going to go ahead and say my dues to the good fellows. Just be a moment. Interesting day. Interesting day. It's one of those where it could have been completely different had they encountered the BB beforehand. I don't know what Fuso was doing. But hey, I guess that's war. So, a big thank you there to Mr. Alex, Diligent Gravy, Mr. Baines, BLeAcHACiD, Deepic Duck, Dingobat4, Eric Wild, Erkkijuusto, Funfo, 123, George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, Imperator Thrawn, James Lindsay, Lord Luba, Ove, Cato, Borsheim, Paradigm, Blue, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Rick Chambers, Ricky Blinson, Sam, Spacht, Stanislav, SunYan, not StunYan, Susanna and Daniel, Tanamon to Eat, Forgotten, Thunder, and Lindholm. And thank you so very much there to my patrons. You guys are fantastic. Very much appreciate your support there. It is humbling as always. I'm glad to have you guys all here with me. Again, that's humbling. So it's great to have you guys. But no, what we'll do then is we'll have some time to go over the turn. I'll probably be posting a summary, likely tomorrow, perhaps. And we'll have to go from there. So until next time, Tenno Haka Banzai. The Empire will continue. We have been blooded in the first month of war, but we have blooded him as well. We have seized many of the key objectives, and we'll continue to seize many key objectives. There looks to be a bright future, but it looks to be a hard-fought one, really. He's a very good player. Very much like THG as well. Good players, both. Nothing will be easy. But you have to be aggressive to take it. So thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Until next time, goodbye for now.